Yo, what is up? Welcome to Ninja Geek Games. Imagine two gods protecting a forgotten island that have a grudge. What would the natives do? Well, it's likely they'd build statues of worship in representation where the gods can then battle over control of the island. TacTiki is a two-player competitive game where you control multiple statues representing one of two gods, Tak and Tiki, in a strategic battle of movement and stacking. During the game, players take turns moving their statues in an attempt to move the opponent's pieces and mass their statues in the other player's starting area to win the game. Let's take a look. This is the setup of the game. Each player takes the 10 statues of one colour, stacks them in pairs and lines them up in their spawn locations at opposite ends of the board, made up of a 5x5 grid. That's it, very simple and very quick at first glance, but the strategy involved in this process will become apparent as we look at gameplay. During the game, players take turns taking one of two actions that are move and reincarnate. To move, a player can move their statues around the board in an attempt to meet the game-winning conditions, as well as attacking the other player pieces that remove them from the board. During the reincarnate action, you can place one of your removed statues back onto your starting spawn locations. Let's look at these actions more closely. To move, you can move any one statue 2 spaces or any 2 statues 1 space. And this includes any stacked statues. Statues can climb on top of other statues and can even be stacked in greater numbers. However, a player's statue can only move forwards and sideways, never diagonally or backwards. You'll notice that each statue has a number ranked 1 to 5, and this represents a kind of strength that is used in an attack. If one of your statues stacks onto an opponent, you rotate both statues 180 degrees so that the rank of each piece is visible to both players, and the statue with the lowest number is removed from the board. If there are multiple opponent statues beneath your attacking piece, then you compare the ranks one at a time, top down, removing the losing statues. This means at times you are committed to trying to remember the rank of opponent statues to attack or set traps. If 2 opposing pieces are stacked and have the same rank, then nothing happens, except the bottom statues are unable to move, so you can also block opponent pieces waiting for your reinforcements to arrive. So, if a higher rank statue always defeats that of a lower rank, then why don't you just send out your high strength statues to do all the attacking? Well, the only exception to this rule is that whilst a strength 2, 3 and 4 statue will always defeat a strength 1 statue, these puny strength 1 pieces are dauntless and always defeat a strength 5 statue. And this is what I sometimes like to do, keep my ones protected as much as possible, seeking out my opponent's big guns. Other than move, you can instead reincarnate, where you secretly choose one of your defeated statues and place it back onto the board on one of your start spawn locations. Spawn 2 regularly and you'll forfeit your move actions. Too little and you run out of pieces. Do you want to bring back your strength 5 statues to wreak havoc, or a 1 to locate and take out the opponent's rank 5 statues? The game can end in one of 2 ways. If you are able to create a stack of 5 statues in any one of the opponent's starting spawn sites, or have at least 1 statue in all of the opponent's spawn sites, you win the game. It's important to note that if you move your statue onto an opponent's spawn area, your piece becomes permanently locked. You cannot move it, nor may it be stacked by an opposing player, meaning it can never be defeated, and also blocks a reincarnate action to that space. Therefore, supporting these areas can be important to win the game. Although the game mechanics are simple, there is a blitz variant which is recommended to learn the game, where you can use a reverse side of the board for a 4x5 grid. Here you remove the 5 strength statues and follow the same rules, except a strength 1 statue defeats a 4, and you need to stack 4 statues in the spawn sites to win the game. I don't really think this blitz variant is needed, as the main game is simple enough to understand and work out some form of strategy. You also have the option of using 2 hazardous tiles to permanently block squares for the whole game, meaning it's easier to either block areas or protect your pieces. I once used the house rule, where at the start of each turn you roll a d6, and on a 1 to 4 you move 1 hazard token in a specific direction if able. It was fun but made the game a little bit more random. TacTiki is a very fun, light game that's taken no more than 15 minutes per game, and that includes the setup. I don't really have a particular strategy and change my tactics based on how the game goes and how many ranks I can remember of the opposing pieces, which becomes less with the more beers I have. As it's so quick to play, you can easily do a best of 3 rather than just a one-off game, and can even do this with the blitz, normal, and using the hazardous tiles for each game to make it varied. The components, namely the statues, are great and look really good on the table. If you enjoy your quick, fast-paced 2-player strategy games, then you will definitely enjoy this. This is Ninja Geek Games. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Cheers.